It's a Tuesday morning, the 11th of December 2012, and another edition of the Press Today on your Pan-African television and AFRIQUE media. Let's start today's edition with Sudan Tribune. The paper says that the White House on Monday abruptly announced the departure of President Barack Obama's special envoy to Sudan, Prince Liman, who held the post since March 2011. President Obama hailed the work done by a special envoy, particularly during the transition from a united Sudan to a partition one in July 2011. The paper also states that South Sudanese government will deploy more auxiliary police forces in order to deter intercommunal attacks and raiding in the affected states. The statement was revealed by an official of the government. Now, taking you to South Sudan, we'll be looking at the South Sudan official page. According to South Sudan's official portal, President Salva Kiir has extended New Year wishes to all the citizens of the country. Kiir, in his message on Sunday, urged all citizens to reflect on the past to inform the future. His message indicated that a new year brings new hopes, challenges, and new opportunities, and that the people need to build a peaceful, prosperous, secure, and stable nation. President Kiir as well said he is not happy this new year will be celebrated when tribal conflicts are still going on. Also read on this story, which say steel factory to open in Juba. Now taking you to Zambia, we'll be looking at the Post newspaper. Today's edition of the Post states that the board of directors for Zambezi Portland Cement Limited and their lawyer, John Sangwa, have accused Ndola High Court in charge Manulula Lisimba of bias in the way he is handling matters involving the company. Visit page 4 to have more details. The paper also writes that Chief Sinazongwe says the UPND risks losing its members of parliament if it continues taking disciplinary actions against them for working with the government. The story continues on page 4. Also, inform yourself on this other interesting story that reads, Mweta urges SATA to stop poaching MPs. See page 4 for more details. Looking at Daily News Gambia, the paper pinpoints that a Gambian journalist threatened to go on hunger strike if detained by the government. The arrest of Abdullah John, if confirmed, will be another setback for Gambian journalists as the year 2012 comes to an end. He was arrested and detained on the 19th of December 2012. The paper also has this interesting story that says, for many, the news from Oslo that the European Union had been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2012 came as a surprise. However, some believe it's odd that this recognition was awarded at a time when social tensions and xenophobia are on the rise and when the EU is mired in crisis. Let's look at Daily Times from Nigeria. According to the paper, the Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) on Monday said its men had intercepted a vessel carrying over 5,000 bags of rice valued at 50 million naira. The controller of Customs Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Dan Ugo, disclosed this in Lagos, which according to him, the vessel was intercepted on the high sea between Republic of Benin and Agbara by the Customs Patrol team. The paper also has this interesting story that says the shareholders of the First City Monument Bank, FCMB, Public on Monday approved the board's plan to adopt a holding company status with the name FCMB Group Public. The shareholders gave the approval at the bank's extraordinary general meeting, EGM, in Lagos. Let's look at Business Day South Africa. According to today's paper, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, on Monday canned a report on the eve of its release showing that most of its shop stewards did not support the re-election of President Jacob Zuma as president of the African National Congress, ANC. COSATU's Central Executive Committee last month announced the Federation's support for Zuma after its members deferred an endorsement of any ANC leader at its September Congress to avoid a divisive debate. The paper, in another instance, writes that Cas Covadia, MD of Banking Association of South Africa, is calling on delegates attending the ANC Congress next week to be aware that their policy decisions could have a negative effect on banks. Still in South Africa, we'll be looking at Cape Times. Today's edition of Cape Times states that a group of prominent clerics has warned President Jacob Zuma that if leaders do not act to stop the moral decay in the country, the churches will have to mobilize civil society to bring about a moral, healthy democracy. The group, in a letter to Jacob Zuma, said that South Africans yearned for new leadership to restore hope amid growing unhappiness about leaders who had lost their moral compass. The paper also reports that the social media frenzy on Nelson Mandela's health is causing panic. That is according to presidential spokesman Mark Maharaji. Now, taking you to Asia, we'll be looking at China daily. The paper brings to our notice that a raft of favorable measures, including expanding recruitment programs, are leading to more foreign experts and expertise, a senior official said at a forum on Monday. According to Deputy Director of the State Council State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission, state-owned enterprises directly under the central government have hired more than 16,000 overseas employees. Just below the kicker, the paper also states that Xi Jinping, in what is being widely interpreted by analysts as a political signal, conducted his first official trip as new party chief of Guangdong, the southern province where China's market-oriented reforms were formed. Now, looking at the Wall Street Journal Asia, the paper writes on its front page that U.S. fines Standard Chartered. U.S. authorities say Monday that Standard Chartered PLC agreed to pay $327 million in penalties for alleged violations of U.S. sanctions against Iran, Libya, and other nations. The announcement concludes a lengthy U.S. investigation into Standard Chartered's operations in New York, London, and Dubai over transactions the bank conducted for Iranian financial institutions in U.S. dollars and business it did with other nations under U.S. sanctions restrictions. Visit page 8 for more details. The paper also says that European Union leaders gather in Oslo to accept Nobel Peace Prize. Find out why the Nobel Committee chairman said the group had a critical role to play in the financial crisis on page 6. Also, this Asian edition of the paper says U.S. consumer spending, a rare pillar of economic strength in recent months, is showing signs of weakening. Read on more on page 18. Equally, find out how Venezuela faces a period of deep uncertainty after President Hugo Chavez announced that his cancer has returned. That is on page 10. Now, looking at Gulf News, the paper reports that Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi has ordered the army to take and place power, including the right to arrest civilians temporarily in the run-up to a referendum on a constitution that has triggered bloodshed. The decree takes effect on the eve of mass rival protests on the referendum slated for Saturday, December 15, and follows street clashes that have left 7 people dead. The paper also has this story that reads UN 65 million US dollar aid for Mindanao, global appeal to help survivors of Typhoon Dofa that reportedly killed over 600 people and affected millions has taken effect. Now let's end today's edition with the Wall Street Journal Europe. Today's paper says that European Union authorities are considering launching a legal crackdown on some national regulators for restricting European banks from freely moving funds across national borders, according to officials familiar with the matter, a sign of rising concern about the country's financial fragmentation. See page 4 for more details. This paper has another interesting story that reports that investors unloaded Italian stock and bonds Monday following the weekend's news that Prime Minister Mario Monti will resign early, underscoring the challenges that Italy's politics pose to its financial stability. This is where we call it off for the press today, but do stay on AFRIQUE Media for more information or follow our programs online on www.afriquemedia.tv.